Hello, and welcome to the Wine Educate podcast, where we explore WSET education, study tips, and practical advice for wine enthusiasts and professionals. I'm your host, Joanne Close, and this is episode 28, WSET Level 3, What to Expect from the Course and the Exam. So if you are thinking about taking Level 3, but don't know exactly what you're signing up for, this is a really good episode for you, because we're going to take a little bit of a look at how the class is laid out and the different ways that you can take it, and then have a look at how the exam is given and the different parts of that. So what the course covers, well, essentially we're getting deeper into the material, so in-depth viticulture and winemaking, major grape varieties and wine styles, key wine producing regions, and in particular, how climate, soil, and human decisions affect the wine. So those first couple of chapters in your book, all talking about altitude and aspect and all those good things, we will just constantly refer back to those chapters and seeing how different wine regions apply all those factors. Of course, we've got the SAT again, and we've already done some really good episodes talking about how the complexity of the SAT grows for level 3. And it's just a lot more complexity overall, right? We're interconnecting all these topics and bringing them together. So what does the class look like? What does the classroom time look like? For level 3, there are 30 hours of classroom time. This does not include the 2.5 hours that you have for the exam. You can choose to take any different course you like that breaks up those 30 hours into many different ways. Here at Wine Educate, we take the slow boat approach, and I'm not sorry about that. I think it's a good approach. So we do one class a week, 1 2-hour class a week for 15 weeks. And often because life is happening in between there's holidays and things, so we have extra weeks in between to study, and I think that is really helpful for you all to sometimes have those breaks to get caught up on your material. That being said, in the spring, next spring, we will be offering level 3 in a more intensive format. I say intensive, but it's not crazy. We're going to do 2 classes a week for 8 weeks. I know we're odd week there, but I think we'll use that other session to do a practice tasting. I've found that some folks just want to get the course completed in a slightly faster time, and I think this still will allow everyone time to study and prepare for those that want to do that more intensive format. And you may be laughing at me because some other schools, they really take the intensive concept to the 10th degree, and they will teach a level 3 class over a week. Wow. If you are taking this format, and believe me, I do understand if you're traveling from a location that just does not offer level 3 at all, and you want the benefit of in-class learning, mainly because of the feedback you will get and the wines you will taste, yeah, I totally understand you may have to take the exam under that intensive format. If you are doing that, you need to be prepared for the exam before you even step foot into the class, because unless you are an amazing cyborg and can somehow study and take full day classes, it's just going to be too hard. And there's always the online option. So if you're taking it online, it's going to be a series of modules over the course of 9 weeks. I've certainly had some great success with students taking the online courses. And if you take the online course with me, so all the modules are going to be the same because the ones offered by the WSET, I do not teach those online courses. However, you will need to come and take the exam in person, right? We cannot do the level 3 exam remotely because there is that tasting component. So included in my level 3 online fee, you get a full day tasting workshop to calibrate your palate with mine the day before the exam. So that's how we do that, because you're going to have to calibrate your palette with your instructor at some point, because they're the ones marking the answer key, right? That is very important. The exam is broken up into 2 parts. We have the tasting part. We do that first, and that is half an hour to taste 2 wines, 1 white, 1 red. And you could have sweet wines and all sorts of different things in there. You have 30 minutes, which I believe is ample time to take the tasting portion. Then we have a little break, kind of clear up the glasses and get settled in for the theory portion of the exam, which is 2 hours. And in these 2 hours, you have 50 multiple choice questions to answer and 4 short written answer questions. And that sounds deceptively simple or short, but to give you an indication, when I print out the exams, the essay portion takes up 8 pages. So they're quite meaty, these questions. And I'm going to go into the tasting portion and the theory portion in greater detail a little later on in my podcast series. So we'll get into that, the nitty gritty of that. So the things that surprise my students the most about the course itself is that just how quick it seems to go. You think you have a lot of time, but you are expected to walk into class being really prepared. And even with a 15-week class, you still need to be prepared before that course starts. And trying to cram in everything in between the sessions is going to make you feel a little panicky. We don't want that. Also, class participation is required. So there's the 80-20 rule, right? And in level 2, I do 80% of the talking and you guys maybe do 20%. I ask you some questions and so on. But in level 3, I'm more like a coach and I'm up there saying about 20% of the things, and I will keep bouncing these questions off of you all. And I'm going to ask you why all the time. So to quote my spirits educator, Matt Ray, you've got to channel your inner precocious 5-year-old. And every single question, you should say, why? Because that's how we're going to get into the descriptive quality and linking all the concepts together. I've had students in the past that didn't quite understand the level of preparation they needed to do before class started. And so they took the course and asked if they could take it again. And it paid to take the course again because this go round they wanted to be fully prepared and gain the benefit of those class discussions to help unlock that why part of the brain, which is so crucial for the essays. And what surprises the students about the exam are many things. I'll get into that in another episode. But mainly that it's not just about memorizing facts. It's about understanding and applying the knowledge. Okay, so this exam is entirely passable if you understand the expectations early on. The course is comprehensive and structured, but you need that outside class time to absorb and review. So next episode, I'm going to be talking about probably the thing that you all were like, could we talk about this already, Joanne, please? How to prepare. We will talk about that next week. So make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss it because it's a good one. Okay, see you next week.